Growing up, my family would go on road trips every Christmas holiday from Lagos to our hometown in Adamawa State, Nigeria. Inspired by this experience are 25 staple recipes and heartfelt stories just for you. This is Sally's 25 Days of Christmas. Yamarita is a popular northern Nigerian food where raw yam is coated with raw eggs and deep fried in oil. This is my modification on Yamarita. Stay tuned and let's get right into the video. Of course, to make Yamarita, we need a tuber of yam. However, you need just the quantity that would be enough for the number of servings you're making. In this video, I was just making this for myself, so I cut just a little piece of my yam tuber. Now, after cutting your tuber, you are going to peel the back of your yam. I consider this the easiest and most reasonable way to peel the back of my yam without spending so much time. It's quicker for me and much more efficient, and so I'm just going to gently, using a sharp knife, peel the back of the yam. I highly advise that you use a sharp knife. Using a dull knife will make this process really frustrating and time consuming. If you notice any imperfections in your yam or any growth or whatever that you need to cut out, feel free to do just that. Oftentimes you don't get 100% yam. Like this part here, I had to take this out. I don't even know what to call that. It's like an ingrowth in the yam. Things like that, you take them out as you peel. Once we are done with that, we're going to cut our yam into thin slices. Now, about 1/2 inch thick. You do not want them to be too thin. However, you don't want them to be too thick as well, so you have to just make sure it's just right. The size that I did in the video is just right for me. Some people actually like their yams super thick, while some like their yams thin. Now, the reason why I advise you make your cuts thin for Yamarita is because remember, we are coating the yam in fresh eggs and then we are going to fry. You do not want a situation whereby the yam has empty spaces with no egg, or a situation where the egg is uncooked in some parts of the yam. This will make more sense because I do not make my Yamarita by deep frying the way it's made in the north. The way I was raised to make it, the way my mother used to make it for us growing up, was to make our yam slices thin, coat it with our eggs, fry it with shallow frying, okay, not deep frying. That way you get a more mouthfeel of the egg. You actually feel like you're eating fried egg, but the way it's made in the north commercially and all of that, you really do not know what you're eating. In fact, a lot of people don't even know it's egg that they coated the yam with. Make sure you wash your yams thoroughly. I did mine under running tap water. The next step, which is to salt our water. I'm using a saucepan intentionally because of the sizes and the shape of my yams. I do not want to use a pot where it will be difficult for me to take them out once they are cooked, and so this is another thing that I'm doing differently. In the north, they would literally just coat the raw yam and deep fry straight. My mom growing up, she would flash fry, meaning you're not going to fry the yam all the way till it's cooked. You're just going to flash fry it for it to have like a hard shell, and then the next thing she's going to do is when it cools, coat it with the egg and then fry it shallow with oil just for the eggs to cook. Personally, I prefer to boil my yams first. This gives a mouth feel of the yam and it also retains the moisture. When you double fry, doing it the normal way, it tends to dry out the yam, especially when the yam cools. If you're not eating it immediately, the Yamarita is going to be dry in your mouth, and so this is the best method. So you're going to break your eggs into a bowl. The quantity of these ingredients really depends on your preference and the quantity you're making. Okay, like I said earlier, I was making this for myself. I just added in a chicken bouillon cube into my eggs. Fun fact, I do not season my eggs with salt. Once I use my seasoning cube, I am good to go. Okay, I do not add in salt. Our yam is going to boil for just 5 minutes. You're not trying to cook them until they are all soggy and all of that. Just 5, if you can even do 3 minutes of the yam boiling, and then you take it out immediately. You do not want a situation where your yam is too soft to handle. Remember, we are still frying this and dipping it in eggs, so we want the yam to be able to hold its shape. It's okay if a couple of them break. Okay, about 2 to 3 that were at the bottom of my saucepan had overcooked and broke into pieces. That is fine. I still had reasonable quantity to go ahead to do what I needed to do. And so this is the game changer, guys, in making yamarita. Your yam would retain moisture, it would not dry out even after frying and all that good stuff. We are still going to double fry. However, you will just make sure that we boil the yam for just 5 minutes and then we fry. Now that is done, make sure you arrange your yam on a flat plate. You can use a tray as well. Let it cool completely. Now I'm going to preheat some oil in my pan, and then I'm just going to add in my yams. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to fry my yam. So frying the yam at this point, you're not frying it till it's completely dry. You're frying it till it just forms a hard shell, such that you can easily handle it with your hands. You're not trying to fry it and fry out all the moisture in the yam. You're not trying to do that. Okay, you're just frying it for a couple of minutes till it forms a hard shell, and then you take it out. You do not want to over fry your yams. That way it would be a waste of us boiling the yams, because all the moisture would dry out in the oil. A quick story: when I was growing up, my mom used to make this a lot for us as breakfast, especially on weekends, and traveling to the north as well, we used to see them selling it by the roadside and would try it. That was when I actually discovered the difference between how it's made in the north and how my mom makes hers for us at home. And so coming across this method or this modification of the recipe was, I visited a family friend who are Fulanis, and I saw their mom boil the yam before frying, and that was how I actually discovered this method, and it's perfect. Trust me, you guys need to try this. Okay, so I'm just gonna fry my yams, and once I'm done, take them out. Bear in mind, I'm using a spatula to do this because, like I said, you want to be very careful handling these yams. You do not want your yams to break. The beauty of yamarita is when they can hold its shape. When the yam can hold its shape, okay, you do not want broken pieces of yam. Now that we've taken all of that out, we are going to set them aside to cool like this. You can use this on your tray. We are going to reduce our oil for frying, and this is the final step. Okay, you're going to dip and coat your yam with egg. And here, if you notice, I just used my hand to almost like pick and pour some egg around the yam so that it has a nice coverage. I was trying to make sure that there's enough egg to coat the yam, right? I was trying to be generous with my egg. And so you're just going to fry on low heat. At this point, you're frying on low heat, guys. Make sure your heat is low. You do not want to fry on high heat. If not, your eggs will just burn and it will be raw on the other side. So once you fry on low heat, you will notice that it starts getting golden brown. You flip it to the other side and allow to fry. Okay, once that is frying, you can press down the yam as well. Just press it down on all the sides to just make sure that the raw egg on the other side of the yam is frying nicely. Just give this a couple of seconds. Eggs do not take so much time to fry. Give this a couple of seconds and then you take it out of the heat. You can transfer this straight into your plate, or you could just put it on a strainer like I did here to collect any excess oil. Okay, the thing is, this saucepan I used for some reason does not have a flat bottom. You'll notice that the oil just keeps moving all the way down to the corners of the pan, and so I had to always be bending and tilting to get the oil to go to the center. But if you're using a non-stick pan, this is going to work just fine for you. Your Yamarita wouldn't be so oily, and you can just literally transfer the yams from your pan to your plates right directly. But for me, due to unforeseen circumstances, I had to just do what I had to do. And so we're going to repeat the process till we are done. For the sake of the tutorial, I was frying one yam at a time. Off camera, I fried the rest at once in a big frying pan. Okay, so you can actually just do it, but if you're a beginner and this is your first time, I'd advise you take your time, try one at a time, then gradually increase the quantity to see how fast you'll be able to keep up. You do not want to crowd your pan and then end up burning some of the yams. You don't want that. So once we are done with this, remember, you flip it, you press it down, give it a couple of seconds for the other side to cook, and your Yamarita is ready. And so this is a perfect way, guys, to have your yams. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. 25 days of Christmas. Okay, we are doing 25 different recipes back to back. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, make sure you turn on the notification, share my videos to your loved ones, leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a beautiful Christmas.